Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, JC Soto. Today we have transformational life coach Beata Seweryn-Reid, and she's going to be talking to us about how to change our thought pattern to transform our lives. Welcome to our show, Beata.
Hi, JC. Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so am I. I know you've been traveling and you went back home. Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened at home and, how long you've been in the States and all the fun you had when you went home recently?
Absolutely. Oh, my gosh. It can be a long story.
No, that's all right.
So I was gone for 3 weeks, so almost a month. And I went to Poland straight after the boot camp, which was busy also with Gary Barnes. So I'm on the go and I cannot stop, I think. But I went to Poland. The main reason was wedding of my niece's wedding. So I don't know if you ever experienced Polish wedding, but it's a really big thing. So if you never did it, I would suggest to invite yourself to some Polish weddings. It's experience. They feed you since you walk in till 4 or 5 a.m. There's dancing, crazy talking. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I reconnected with my family. And then my husband is from United States. He's American. So he was asked a question, are you ready for this wedding? And he's absolutely. And there's like, are you sure? Are you ready for this wedding? And he's like, why they ask me that question? And I said, honey, don't worry. You will see. And he said, yeah, I was not really ready, but he enjoyed it as well. Anyway, then I went for a trip with my friends and my husband to Italy. I love Italy.
Yes.
Sardinia this time. Oh my gosh. If you can ever go and experience Italy, please do. It's the nicest people I think I ever met. Everyone is smiling. And I did some research before we go, and the researchers, they say that Sardinia and people who live there, they are the people who live the longest and the most happier lives. And it's like, well, maybe. I believe that. I believe that everyone is so relaxed, smiling. It doesn't matter what they do. And you could think, well, probably you wait for your service forever. No, it's not true. They are just so kind and so positive. So I think the sun, except that they have a lot of sun, and they have also positive thinking that I think, are still catching up on it in States and Poland as well.
Well, glad to hear that. When I was in the Air Force, one of the places I went to besides Germany was Italy. And I always thought I will be back here one day. It's beautiful. The architecture of the building is incredible,
right.
And they preserve everything. And you're right. They're really friendly. They're really welcoming.
And helpful. And, except that you said the architecture is beautiful, but when I experience country, I like to experience it through people. And so I love to talk to the local people. And I have only good stuff to say about Italian.
Yeah, you immerse yourself in the culture. That's how
right.
you really experience it. Yeah. So how do you help your clients to change their thinking pattern to improve their lives?
So in my case, my clients, they approach me usually when they are experiencing some significant life change or transition.
Okay.
And the main thing from my own experience is on the way to adjust to life that changed so quickly or unexpectedly is our thinking. Our thinking is the main reason why we are stressed, why we are stuck, and why we cannot move forward. And again, I do it from my own experience because I was the most stubborn, probably person in the world that was telling myself stories that were not really true. And it's what my clients experience as well. We tell ourselves stories based on our past experiences that are not necessarily helpful and healthy as well, that cause us a lot of stress. My clients also, they use journaling. So I use journaling with my clients. It helps them, but first of all, it helps me as a coach to get to their thinking patterns, like you mentioned, and limiting beliefs very quickly. Sometimes it takes time to create and build a relationship between coach and client or any other business relationship before the client is ready to open to me. And so I save my time because I can get quicker by asking my clients questions through journaling. Journaling is a great tool where it's a science, it's not me. We cannot lie to ourselves when we write stuff down. And even if you don't tell me everything, I'm able to read in between the lines and ask the questions that are in a very short time, let me into your thinking pattern.
Now, do you have men also as clients or mostly women?
So yes, I work mostly with women. My ideal client is high achieving woman that outside, for the world, seems like she has it all. I was the one. And so for the outside world, it seems like I've got it. I'm the queen. I'm on the top of the world.
How to figure it out.
Yes, but inside, when she closed the doors, she feels so lonely, disappointed, because she's telling herself stories that are taking away her confidence and self-worthiness. And I don't know if you remember a part of my speech when I was speaking at Gary's event, when I was talking, what is your 7-year-old holding on to? So very often we don't even realize that our stories were created back in time when we were still a kid. For me, it was around age of 7 when I experienced my tragic accident, and since then I created a lot of limiting beliefs. The biggest one was that I am not enough because I'm less than my colleagues, that I cannot achieve what they can achieve because I had surgery, I had brain damage, and I will never be enough. So then this not enough, I was just taking further and further in my life, and it was, I'm not enough to apply for this job, or even if I applied, I sabotage myself because deep down, I feeling that I'm not enough to have this job.
Yes.
I'm not enough to have these relationships. So it's just sometimes with my clients, we have to go back in time and see where this limiting belief was created. And example, it's actually a very good story. I met with my we just finished my client. We just finished before I went to Poland. So we connected this morning and I was like, okay, how is it now for you? And I could not believe the change that she experienced. She is totally different person. She's around 50 years old, but a lot of stuff that we had to chat about and we had to go deep on happened when she was between 5 and 10 years old, and her relationship with her mom that was not the greatest. But the difference between coaching and especially the one I do is not that I go back to bring these terrible experiences and let you swim and, take you down with them. It's just to see where you were and what you can do with it. So basically with my clients, we start, how did I get here where I am and why I'm not happy with what it is? Then we revisit what happened in the past and if it has any connection with your current life. And it's 99% yes, because we drag our stories from the past into the current lives. And like I mentioned, we create stories that are not supporting us. But we are so clinged to the past that we don't want to leave it because it's what we know. And going back to change and transition that I mentioned, my clients are coming with. Uncertainty, it's the main reason why people are afraid of change. And I'm the big example because I went through so many changes and many times I was so much avoiding them that it hurted even more. It hurted deep inside because, again, change, I don't know if you know, JC, that probably you do, that change is an event that happened in a moment. For example, I have job today, tomorrow I might be
unemployed.
Yeah, unemployed. Thank you. Yeah. And so the event happened, but the inner part is this transition that I think my coaching is a little bit different because for me, transition is the inner job that we have to do, that we have to come from what ended this change. Yeah, I had the job yesterday, today I'm unemployed. And this inner transition, emotional part and my thinking, what story I attach to it will help me to move forward or stay disappointed and complaining. And probably this process of looking for a new job will take much longer, or sometimes people are staying unemployed for years because they are so attached to the position they had with the previous job. Oh no, I cannot take this job because my ego, they don't want to acknowledge it at first, but my ego is like, I was a manager, I was a director, how can I take this whatever job? People won't respect me. So there is a story attached, and then we deeply, where does it come from? When does this respect or this respect that you so clinch and come from?
Uncertainty, that's definitely one of the fears that people bring, right? Do they have other fears besides that one?
Oh, this is the main one because we always want to, it's a human thing. Yeah, you want to know what is next, but with changes that are happening in life, and we cannot avoid them, even if we would really like to. You never know what is next, and people care. Okay, if I don't have job tomorrow, how I'm gonna pay for my house? But they forgot that if you are so focused on worry and fear, you don't let yourself to think clearly. And this awareness, which I think coaching brings to people's lives, and I focus on it, awareness, like, okay, this not pleasant thing happened, but now pause for a second and think what you can do about that. Do you have any power over it? If so, what is your next step? So when we pause, it's like, you would take the deep breath. I can breathe again, so I can live again. And in this moment, the clarity comes and you can clearly think what you can do about that. And often also, people are afraid to ask for help. And it's what we need to do when we are in this time of transformation, when we don't know what is next. Maybe I don't have a power to help myself. But if you just stop for a second and think, you probably know hundreds of people who can help you move from A to B. You don't have to see the next step, C, but just what you need for now. So you will get some certainty and your stress will be lower.
Really interesting. Do they have fears to hire a coach? Do they have some kind of reservations when they come to you?
Absolutely. Especially with the first timers, we call it first timers, like someone who never had a coach before. Deep down, they know that they have to do this inner work, this transformation. They dream of it. It's a deep desire, but they are so afraid to open, because I'm sure you know, if you want to change anything in your life, you have to go deep. You have to be open, not only with me as your coach, but with yourself. And I think the biggest fear is there to get naked and look in the mirror and say, okay, it's who I am. So they are afraid of themselves and the judgment that they think that coach will put on them. But in coaching, there is no judgment. There is a feedback. And not everyone, because some people are just not ready for coaching. They say yes, but the first conversation takes place like 100 times, and then, I don't know. So I learned that I'm saying just, okay, take your time, come back when you're ready. I'm not running after my clients. They need to be ready, because otherwise they won't get the transformation they are looking for.
And when they come in, they also come with misconceptions, right? They have an idea of what a transformation life coach is, right?
Absolutely, yes. I think the coaching is very misunderstood, and they think that it's like many people think that it's like you go to counseling or you go to psychologist. No, it's not, because psychologists or psychotherapists, they take you on a journey into the past, and they stay there for a long time. I'm already kind of mentioned that. And for me, there's not a point to keep you in the past and let you live over and over this life that you didn't really like. For me, it's, again, as a coach, let's revisit, see what didn't work, what worked, and focus on moving forward. So we don't waste a time, because life is happening now, yes. Not in the past, not in the future. So let's focus on what we can do now and move forward to the life you really desire.
You don't bring them back to that painful experience and stay there for a long time, right?
We need to revisit, because I need to know what happened, yes. But I don't keep you there, because there's no reason. I just help them to see, to understand that often it was needed, and so you can move forward, or I can understand where your limiting beliefs came from and help you to understand this and bring to the surface what is, because very often people cannot even name what is my limiting belief. Yes, they like, limiting belief, what is it? So we have to name it, and I cannot tell them. I want them to find out. So I ask a lot of questions. And basically it's like navigating through change and navigating through what happened, where you are now, and where you can go farther.
So it's like peeling layers and layers.
Absolutely, and layers. Yes. Yeah. Peeling the onion, yeah, and there are tears sometimes. Yeah.
There's some big onions out there now.
So, but it's just needed, and I was there, so yes. I understand. I think you cannot coach if you did not go through coaching and
experience it yourself.
Yeah, experience it yourself.
You're right. And so fears, we talked about fears a little bit. How do you help them deal with those fears? Do you have any other suggestions of how, when they come in with these fears, how do you help them deal with that stuff?
So it's attached to, I have to reveal what is the story that they tell about themselves about that fear. Where did it come from? My fear was when I was 7 years old. My fear was I'm not enough. And this fear was just creating new situations, and we're changing the name. the 7-year-old Beata was afraid to show up because she wasn't enough. The 24 years old Beata was afraid that they will find out that she has a fear. So she was hiding. And, but there is a story behind that fear.
Yes.
And it's what I'm interested in. And that's why, again, I'm going to say journaling is the best way to find out what you are telling yourself, what language you use, your self-talk, your the inner critic. It all comes out in journaling. And it's the best way for you to find out what is the fear and where the fear can come from. And is it even real? Most of the time it's not real. The fears sometimes were created by our colleagues, parents in the past because they told you, you are stupid. I don't know if I can say it here, but they said you are stupid and you bought in it and you are saying, oh, I cannot dream that big because, yeah, I'm stupid. I cannot have that job because I'm stupid. So it's just, when you grow up, the names are changing, the language is changing, but deep down, there is the fear, and usually the fear creates limiting beliefs and this idea that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy.
So journaling, is that something that should be done every day, or anytime you get a thought or an idea in your head, you should just go ahead and write it down right away?
So for someone who never journaled before, I would just suggest, they call it expressive writing. Just sit down, and if you have this, we have this inner fear, like you feel an anxiety, something is not right. Just sit down and write down whatever comes to your mind. Just write down the story that you are telling yourself at this moment. No judgment. No one else is going to see it. And when you're done, read it. And you're going to reflect and see, when you do it more often, you're going to start seeing patterns. With me as a coach, in my coaching, we do it every day. And it's more like exchanging emails, but it's online. And my clients, they have prompts, weekly prompts. So because there is a certain process that I take them through. So you receive, for example, prompt on Monday morning and you write, and I'm receiving your writing and I ask you questions back. So I'm revealing I'm getting deeper and deeper in whatever, we're working on. Here is the main thing, because we all fear what is next for me. And every person in the entire world, we set goals, but what these goals actually are, it's just, we all want to be happy. So, and we just name, like, a house will make me happy, job will make me happy, relationship will make me happy. But it's about the thoughts and feelings. And it's what we do with my clients. We go deep, and this journaling, again, is really helping for me to get to know clients quickly, and my clients to get to know themselves, because we don't really know often who we really are.
Yes, and you're right. I think we want all these other things, the car, the vacation, the house, but at the end, what we want is to feel happy, to have joy, to enjoy life.
Exactly.
To have a good life. Yes.
Absolutely.
So if somebody's looking for a transformational coach, what they should be looking for? What are the maybe the traits that they should be looking and maybe checking off that list, that this person has this, has the other thing?
So there's so many transformation coaches. Yes. So I would suggest, like I did based on my own experience, check who they are. If they have, like you do have podcasts, if they are on podcasts, listen to them. And first of all, don't be afraid to contact and have the conversation, because in the conversation, you can actually decide if I like call it vibes. If there is a connection, the connection will be there right away. If there is not a connection and you don't feel that you can work with that coach, it's not going to work. And coaches, they do the same. They first have this first conversation to see if there is a match. Like for you, if you have clients, and I'm sure some clients are perfect match and some it's a struggle. So
It'll be a great fit.
But I would suggest to do the research. Don't just jump. And every coach has different tool. And I think tool is the most important as well, because not everyone likes to journal, but why don't you give a try? Maybe you never did it. So have this conversation and ask how it is. Maybe coach will give you some exercise that you can see if it's for you. Other coaches, they use different tools. So I would just go for stuff that speaks to you and works for you.
And how did you get started with journaling? What was the initiation into that?
Well, it was, I think, the end of 2004, because my whole entire life, I was very interested in self-development and working on myself, but journaling specifically came to me in the end of 2014 when my marriage I was struggling in my marriage. I'm open. I don't have any secret. We were close to really get divorced. And I knew that I cannot handle that anymore on my own, because I knew that I'm telling myself a lot of stories. And I hear, this was the good example, because I hear the lady at that time, on the podcast of my, at the time, coach. She was a coach, was interviewing another lady that was also a coach. And she was talking about journaling, Kim Ades. And I was like, oh my gosh, this kind of speaks to me. This lady, I don't know, I feel connection. And they had this online journaling, like you can take a sample if journaling is for you or not, and assessment, online assessment. So I fill it out, and then we had a conversation, and I joined her coaching, and I was a client first, and then I was like, it works. It saved my marriage. It's changed my mindset, because it's all about our thinking, just in 10 weeks. And then I said, okay, I want to become a certified coach with you. So the coaching that I'm using, I practice on myself. So I know I promise you that it works very quickly.
So can you list some of the benefits? I know you said that you can't lie to yourself. That was one of the benefits of journaling. Can you give me a couple more?
I think I mentioned also, you get to know yourself on a deep level. You can see your fears. Again, the language is very important. Not the language, Polish, Spanish, or English. It's the language that you use constantly to yourself. Because when you write, you finally gonna notice that you call yourself that I can't do this because, or I'm not qualified to do that job, or who I am to have this treat. So you can see the language that is negative usually, and how often you put yourself down, or you start to notice, like my client, that she was looking all the time for relationships because she was finding validation not in herself when she was by herself, but through other people. So it's very quickly you can recognize where you are actually keeping yourself small or trapped.
That's pretty powerful.
Thank you.
And how did you started doing coaching? What was the spark besides learning about journaling? Was that something else that you said, well, I see a lot of people around that can benefit from what I'm doing here?
I started coaching to coach other people?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. So yeah, it was again through my own struggles, when I was going through my own struggles, and I was in a process, and out of nowhere, all these women were talking to me, and they were complaining about their jobs, relationships, crying that they hate their lives and etc. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. And I was seeing and hearing that they are most of the time telling themselves stories that are not really true. Because when you are in Colorado Springs and you dream to have job in Florida, you can move. And they were finding all the reasons why they cannot do it, why they cannot dream bigger. And I was like, it's like a mirror, I think. At the time it was a mirror. It's like, oh my gosh, it's me. But I was already ahead of them. I was already, thanks to coaching. And it's when I decided I want every other person to transform their lives. I want to be part of it. I want to help them because I was helped and I want to share. It's possible.
Yeah, and like you said, it helps when you've already been there. You experience the struggle and experience how to get out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they say that you have to be far, far ahead. No, you just need to be a couple steps ahead of your clients because they need to catch up and you are walking farther and farther. Because if you are a coach, I'm always learning. I always have a coach. It's not that I'm done. I cannot imagine life without coach at the moment.
Yeah, we always have to keep learning, and we always, we have to keep on taking control of how we think, our minds.
Absolutely.
We cannot let it run wild like it does sometimes.
Absolutely, JC. And I'm gonna go back to the thinking. We are changing every day. It's not that only the world around us is changing. We are changing, not only physically because we are getting older, but our mindset also changed. And sometimes we just don't often we don't pay attention to it. So it's a lot about growing. I want to grow and I want to be aware where I am in my life. And that's why sometimes it's hard to see from the inside of the box. Yes. So we need this coach or mentor, someone who kindly, it's not about judging you. It's about being with compassion, tell you, hey, stop. Do you see what you're doing yourself with thinking like that? Like, stop, pause, and then let me take you farther.
So they have really interest in helping you out, not just criticizing you and judging you.
No, coach is never if coach is judging you, he shouldn't or she shouldn't be a coach.
Yeah. So do you have 3 to 5 tips that you can give my listeners about how to start working on transforming their lives and working on their thinking?
I think the biggest thing is do not be afraid of change because transformation is about the change. It's where you are now and where you see yourself. Sometimes it's hard for you to see where you want to be. So do not be afraid of change. Change usually comes to help you with transformation because probably you would never be brave enough to move on. So change is pushing you, kicking your butt.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So don't be afraid of change. And second, reach out to people and surround yourself with people who help you to grow. Because when you are by yourself, you are just creating more scarcity and create more stories that I'm alone, I cannot move forward. Find your tribe. So do not be afraid of change. Find your tribe and take actions. There's nothing gonna happen without actions. Have courage. I always say about courage. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's worth it at the end.
It is worth it. So if people wanted to contact you and have a conversation with you, how they can contact you?
So my website, it's Beata, Beata, lifecoaching.com. You can check my website. You can find me on Facebook. It's my name, Beata Seweryn-Reid. So it's Beata Seweryn, hyphenated Reid. Yeah, I learned it. It's hard spelling. And Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, and my website. I have Facebook Lives on Tuesday where I invite other people for meaningful conversations. If you want to see what I'm talking about, who I am, please feel free to join me, watch me, or just reach out. My email is Beata, actually Seweryn-Reid It's just my B, all small letters, no capitals. So reach out, let's have conversation, and I don't know if I can offer to your audience. On my website, I have a free guide. It's called 10 Steps for Better Journaling. And if you never journaled, just read that. It's awesome. I put there my own story, how it helped me to grow in my life and how journal can help you. It's free, just 10 steps, short read, but it might change your life as well.
Thank you, Beata. And Beata's info is going to be just below this recording. Beata, thank you for sharing this powerful information with us. I'm really impressed. I'm really happy that you came along, and welcome back to the States.
Thank you.
So, and to my listeners, thank you for listening in. And Beata's info, again, is going to be just below this recording. And I really highly recommend that you contact her. Thank you, Beata. Appreciate it.
Thank you, JC.
So until next time, this is JC Soto. Have a good day.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.